Imposing, aggressive, muscular. All words you'd use to describe an SUV. The Daihatsu Terios is none of those things, but that is exactly what makes it stand out. Even though this second-generation model no longer classifies as a light car in Japan, it still represents a feat of packaging, especially when you consider it can seat 7 people.
I'm really not in the market for a 7-seater MPV SUV because sadly I don't even think I have 6 friends to join me.
Shame.
Yeah.
Well, sadly for me, we also don't have 6 members on our ignition team, so we can't even use it as a crew vehicle.
So we're kind of admitting absolute ignorance here because for me I kind of just assumed that Daihatsu Terios with a long wheelbase at its price was kind of fighting in this market on its own.
Absolutely, with 7 seats, but for 225,000 Rand and thereabouts, you can actually get quite a lot.
Yeah, so it's a real learning curve. I mean, looking at it and looking at its spec value, there are a couple that jump out immediately as direct competitors.
Yeah, Avanza being the lowest of the low at 188,000.
And Toyota and Daihatsu are kind of...
They are.
Cousins.
Sharing, yes, inbred.
So that I would not want to even look at an Avanza, I'm sorry, just from a looks point of view.
Yeah, look, I'd definitely take this over an Avanza, but this looks more SUV, whereas Avanza is more MPV. Although this, without the 4x4, is MPV, but it just looks like an SUV.
Jeez, it's a hell of a confusing conversation, because I agree with you. For me, 7 seats generally would be
MPV.
Multi-purpose vehicle, and as soon as you go 4x4, it's SUV. I mean, this does come 4x4, pushes the price up to like, what, 245 odd grand, whereas the one we're driving is 225. What about the Nissan though?
Grand Lavina.
Grand Lavina, because that comes in at 190 to 200.
Not one we've driven, but our director tells us that it's a nice drive and a good car, and probably a little bit of spec and a little bit of feel than the Terios.
Everybody seems to rave about the space on the Grand Lavina, and you know, driving the Terios, I must admit I'm very impressed with their third row of seats, because
you can actually sit in them.
Yeah, I fitted, seriously. I can get in the back. I mean, sure, my head touches, but you could actually drive somebody to work quite comfortably, and that's rare for me, because most of those third seats are excuses, really.
Well, it's pretty good that your passengers are going to feel comfortable, because as a driver, it's a little uncomfortable. It's a very wallowy ride.
Yeah.
The engine is not bad. It's actually quite peppy for a 1.5 litre. It does go.
Our challenge, I mean, when I drove it, I thought gearbox and engine work really well together. It's a nice feeling gearbox, but the problem is we've only driven it, you and I. And I think as soon as you jam 7 people in, this engine's going to work a lot more.
I think so.
And that wallowiness, I mean, I really felt it on that long wheelbase, that you actually feel the length, where the front and rear seem to be doing something different. Now imagine jamming an extra 200 kilograms in here when you load up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit scary.
Maybe that's why they've got a small engine though.
Maybe, so you can't go fast. Well, you know what, you wouldn't want to go too fast in this either, because you'd start to go deaf, because it's desperately in need of a 6th gear, and it just whines.
That's what's tough for the SA market is, I mean, these sort of vehicles, you would imagine you wouldn't have this problem because it's geared for the open road. It's not your ultimate city vehicle. So we're going to struggle, but you'd think they'd bring them out with 6th gear. They've thought really well. I mean, the tyre on the back door for me works really well. That's what gives you the space.
Absolutely, the seat space.
In the back.
Yeah. But it doesn't affect I mean, often you have the heaviness of the door then when you have the wheel on the back, but it's fine with that.
You see, I think because it's a smaller tyre, I mean, you look at something like Toyota Prado where the tyre is a serious big tyre. They've actually got to put that little lock nut in there to keep the door, but this works really well. It doesn't blow back on you, so they've done a good job with that.
They have. The one thing that bothers me about this is the low spec. I mean, it really is like the city Golf of SUVs, because it is just base spec. It doesn't even have brake and reach on the steering wheel. It's got no height adjustment on the seat. There aren't middle cup holders. I don't know. I just would have liked a little bit of spec.
Maybe that's why a lot of people are kind of feeling that Terios used to be a really good value proposition, but maybe it's starting to push the far end of the price bracket, and you're not really getting what you should be getting for that price. Because for me, interior is just a little bit ding hard plastic, you know, the doors feel a bit tinny, whereas I don't think you're going to get that if you maybe pay a little bit more
and go for the Nissan.
Go the Nissan Qashqai.
Yeah, well, Qashqai you can get for 240, 250.
Yeah, 240, and you also threw in, when we were talking about this earlier, the Verso.
Yeah, Verso is a great car, also 7 seats, decent room.
That's an MPV.
That's an MPV.
So we decided. Look, what's what?
You know what? I think this is one of the best looking. I like the looks of it a lot. That is one thing that does have going for it.
Great mom's taxi to wrap up.
Yeah.
Because you're going to jam your kids in the back. If you need a load extra space, flip the seats down.
And you're not going to be going fast, so you're not going to feel the wallowiness.
No. Yeah, I think they should have stiffened. I think, look, it's our first time we've driven a Terios. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we were caught up in all this hype because people
Yes.
really have made such a
They've
big deal.
raved about it, but they rave about its 4x4 ability, so maybe that's what we need to do. Get a short wheelbase and go 4x4.
Fantastic idea. As I perch precariously above the river.